Welcome friends, today we are going to see here the retrogressive metamorphosis in ascidian larva. In the previous video, we have seen the structure of ascidian larva in the detail because it was necessary to study the retrogressive metamorphosis in the ascidian larva. So I recommend you to watch the previous video on the structure of the ascidian larva. Then you can understand the retrogressive metamorphosis, because structure is very important part to study the retrogressive metamorphosis of ascidian larva. So our topic is retrogressive metamorphosis. In ascidian tadpole larva. As each word has its own meaning. Retrogressive, it is the opposite word or the autonym of progressive, and retrogressive means backward changes, and another word is metamorphosis. Metamorphosis, it is the Greek word. And we will split it like that. Meta means after, morph, metamorph. Morph means formed, and oasis means state. Means the complete meaning of metamorphosis is splitted. That meta means after, morph means formed, and oasis means state. So now we will see the definition of the retrogressive metamorphosis. The changes that lead to transformation of well-developed, fully developed larva into loosely or less developed adult is known as retrogressive metamorphosis. The changes in which a larval form well developed, okay, transforms into lowly, means here the changes in which a larval form or we can say that highly developed or well developed larval form transforms into lowly developed adult. It is the transformational change in which highly developed larva, means larva is highly developed and then it transferred into lowly developed adult. Means this ascidian tadpole larva is more developed or more superior in evolution than its well developed adult. So it is the definition part. Now we can see that the characteristics which are involved in this transformation change, that the transformation of this ascidian tadpole larva is of unique type. It is of unique type in which motile transformation is motile. Transformation is of unique type in which motile, active, non-feeding, lecithotropic, lithotropic feeding. Okay, lithotropic pelagic larva. It is the unique type of transformation in which motile, active, non-feeding, lithotropic pelagic larva transforms into, means exactly opposite word we are using, exactly opposite word for larva and the adult. The larva is motile, active, non-feeding, lithotropic and pelagic. What these two words indicate? You know motile, you also know the meaning of active, you also know the meaning of non-feeding. Non-feeding means not eating anything, because we have seen in the structure of the ascidian tadpole larva that the its digestive system was non-functional. Okay, and lithotropic means the larva, the organism which is feeding on its own yolk reserve. It is non-feeding, so it have to draw nutrition from somewhere, so it has its own nutrition and it derives it from its yolk reserve. Hence this term is lithotropic. Okay, remember this term, this is most important term. And then pelagic larva. Pelagic means the larva which is feeding on the surface of the sea or the water reservoir. Now this larva transforms into non-motile, inactive, feeding or filter feeder. You can add one word here that it is the filter feeder, and instead of lithotropic it is planktotropic. It is the planktotropic, and instead of pelagic it becomes benthic, adult. It is the means these are exactly opposite, means larva is transforming into the adult. The adult becomes non-motile because it becomes sedentary and attached to one surface, and it becomes inactive. Instead of non-motile you can write there sessile also. Okay, instead of this non-motile word you can add here the sessile. Okay, means it is attached and firm to a surface. Now it becomes inactive and feeding. It is feeding, as it is a filter feeder, feeding on the plankton, as we have used the word planktotropic. Planktotropic means it was the lithotropic previously, means it was feeding on its own yolk reserve. Now it is planktotropic, means it is feeding on planktons. Planktons are of two types, phytoplankton and zooplankton. It becomes benthic, as it is sessile, so it go to the bottom of the reservoir and fits there. Okay, now how it get attached? As it was sessile, as it was free swimming larva, it get attached inverted, means its mouth go towards downward and its tail come upwards. In this manner it get attached. It is a free swimming larva. You can see here it has the mouth here, it has the pharynx here, means it was it is swimming in the water, and now it becomes attached invertedly, means its mouth get attached to the substratum and tail towards the upwards, so it becomes attached invertedly. Okay, now we will study what are the characteristics. Now the question may arise in your mind that it has lost all the chordate characters? The answer is no. There are some chordate like characters are also present at this time. Can you guess? I will tell you. Okay, these characteristics are the presence of the endostyle and the presence of the gill slits and the pharynx. These are the characteristics of the chordates. Okay, so these are the chordate like characters that are still present. Now the next point is fixation. How the fixation of this larva takes place. The fixation is the free swimming larva after it stops feeding for some time. Before the fixation, it stops feeding and it attaches invertedly. As I already told you that it attaches invertedly, that is upside down, means its head is on the bottom and its tail is towards the surface of the water. Okay, it was the fixation. Now what are the actual characteristics, what are the morphogenetic changes that takes place during the retrogressive metamorphosis? Okay, these changes you can split the word and understand the meaning of that I have used the word morphogenetic. The morphogenetic changes involved in the retrogressive metamorphosis of ascidian tadpole larva. The morphogenetic, the word morphogenetic is important. What now we are going to see what are the morphogenetic changes that are taking place in the larva. Morpho means morph means morphological, that is the outside changes, and genetic means the changes that are taking in at the chromosome level or at the gene level. So there are the two type of changes, that is morphological changes and the genetic changes. These two words get combined and form the word morphogenetic. So this word is important. And what are the morphogenetic changes that are involved in the retrogressive metamorphosis of this ascidian tadpole larva? The first is the loss of tail. The first is loss of tail. As you can see that the larva was motile, so there was the significance of the tail in the larva. But when the adult becomes the sedentary, there is no significance of the tail, so the tail is lost in the adult. Okay, so the tail with the nerve cord as well as notochord, nerve cord, notochord, and the muscles in the tail, as well as and in the latter changes the tail shortens and the caudal fin also shortens and they get autolyzed. Autolyzed means self-absorbed. The notochord, nerve cord, caudal fin, tail and tail muscles are autolyzed in this tail. Means tail is not shaded like that, like the phenomena that occurs in the lizards or some organism. The tail is autolyzed, means this tail is self-absorbed by this organism, this ascidian tadpole adult. Second is loss of adhesive papillae. What are the adhesive papillae? Adhesive papillae were the leaf-like structures that held this larva for the attachment. These adhesive papillae are not of the functional significance in the adult, so they are lost. There were the two adhesive papillae. Two were the dorsolateral and one was the ventrocentral. Okay, if you are feeling hard to remember, then go again to the structural part of this ascidian tadpole larva, our previous video, and then come here. You will feel some simplicity. Okay, now the third part is the shifting of the mouth and the arteriopore. Sorry. The shifting of mouth and arteriopore. Okay. Now in this point, you can see this diagram. This diagram is based on this third point, that is shifting of the mouth and the arteriopore. First, what happens that the region between the point of attachment, and the mouth proliferates rapidly. Means it grows rapidly, and you can see that the part between the attachment and the mouth grows rapidly, progressively, and the mouth gets shifted by 180 degree dorso posteriorly. Okay, this mouth become, in this stage you can see that mouth is closer to the substratum or the attached part. Now you can see that it is going away, and finally it becomes aligned 180 degree. It was here, then it was at the bottom. Now it is changed itself by 180 degree, or you can see that the mouth part becomes posterior dorsal in comparison to the first part. Okay, so the shifting of the mouth and the arteriopore takes place. Fourth is the opening of the mouth. As you can see that the here it is the taste region or the taste above the ectoderm. So this taste region needs to be dissolved. So in this region above this, the taste is reabsorbed in this region above the mouth, and opening of the mouth takes place. Okay, is it clear? Fifth point, it leads to, there are the 10 points which are involved in the morphogenetic changes. The fifth point is changes in brain. Now what changes that are taking place in the brain? The sensory vesicle and its parts get degenerated, and the anterior part of the cerebrum attaches with the pharynx and form the neural gland, and as it is formed from anterior part of the pharynx and the cerebrum, that is the brain, the collision of the brain. So it may be misleading that it is some nervous function, it may have some nervous function, but the neural gland has the excretory function. Okay, and the posterior part of the cerebral ganglia and the trunk ganglia collapse or they merge to form the nerve ganglion. First structure was the neural gland, and now the second structure formed from the collision or the mixing or the attachment of these 2 points, that is the posterior part of the cerebral ganglion and the trunk ganglion. They merge to form the nerve ganglion and the trunk ganglion, some part of the trunk ganglion from the visceral nerves. These are the changes that are taking place in the brain, and another changes that some part of this nerve cord or this neural cord or the nerve cord degenerates in the trunk region. So these are the changes that are taking place in the brain. Now the 6th point, that is the changes that are taking place in the digestive system. This means these changes leads to the perfection of the alimentary canal. Okay, The next change is perfection of elementary canal. What are the changes? Means the perfection that is taking place in the elementary canal. The pharynx part enlarges, the stigmata also enlarges and they become vascularized. The intestine part becomes U-shaped, stomach enlarges, rectum and another part of this elementary canal, an important part, and that is the important part, that is the formation of lungs. The formation of lungs takes place. Okay, lung formation, it is important part. Note down please. Lung formation. Okay, I am writing in short, lung form. Okay, there is the formation of lungs in the perfection of the elementary canal. What are the changes? I am repeating again that the pharynx enlarges, the stigmata also, there are formation of stigmata, that is more number of stigmata are formed, they become vascularized, and the intestine become U-shaped. Then the lung is formed. Okay, stomach also enlarges. Seventh point is regarding the blood vascular system, that is elaboration of blood vascular system. In the elaboration part, what takes place is that the heart is formed, heart is completely formed. In the larva, it was not completely formed and just surrounded by the myocardium or the pericardium. Okay, now this pericardium and the heart is formed and the sinuses join from the two sides and leads to formation of the blood vascular system. Okay, the sinuses that are joined from the two sides and it leads to formation of blood vascular system and heart get developed. And eighth point is that formation of gonads, because if gonads are not formed, the continuation of species will not take place. So the formation of the gonads are formed from mesodermal cells. Okay, from mesoderm. Okay, now ninth part is formation of ectodermal ampullae. What is this? Now what is this? The ectodermal ampullae. Ectodermal ampullae, in the formation of this ectodermal ampullae, the outer region, that is taste and the ectoderm, enlarges from the fourth side and attached to the substratum, and the region between the mouth and the point of attachment is known as the ectodermal ampullae. And ectodermal ampullae, and now the point comes to may come in your mind that what is the function of this ectodermal ampullae. Ectodermal ampullae serves for the dual function. It functions for the attachment as well as for respiration. Okay, means anchorage part and the attachment part and the respiration part. Now the last point is the formation of in this last part, this formation of taste. Taste was already there, but this taste becomes it elaborates itself and it forms from all the sides and it enlarges from all the sides and it become large, thick and translucent. This part is regarding the taste. So once again I am repeating that the taste elaborates itself, the taste become translucent, taste become thick and enlarges from all the four sides. So that's all about the retrogressive metamorphosis of this ascidian tadpole larva. First, these are the morphogenetic changes. The morphogenetic changes involved in the retrogressive metamorphosis. These are the 10 morphogenetic changes. First is the loss of tail. Second is the loss of the adhesive papillae. Shifting of the mouth and the arteriopore by the 180 degree. Opening of the mouth, that is the dissolution of the taste. Changes in the brain. What are the changes in the brain? There are the vesicle. All the vesicles are vanished. They destroyed, and the new ganglion nerve. There are the two structure formed. That is the neural gland and nerve ganglion. I am writing here. Neural gland and nerve ganglion formation, as well as visceral nerves are formed from the trunk ganglion. Okay, so these parts are formed visceral nerves. Okay, now sixth part is the perfection of the alimentary canal. In the perfection of the alimentary canal, one extra organ is formed, that is the lung is formed, and in the elaboration of the blood vascular system, there is the formation of well developed heart, and the two sinuses joint itself and the blood flows. Okay, now the formation of the gonads, mesodermal cells take part in the formation of the gonad, formation of the ectodermal ampullae. In the formation of the ectodermal ampullae is the region between the mouth and the point of attachment. Okay, and these ectoderm extend from the four corner and attaches to the substratum. As I already told you, it performs the dual function, that is for anchorage as well as the respiration. And in the last part, that is the formation of the taste. The taste enlarges itself from all the sides, and it become thick, translucent. Okay, so that's all about this retrogressive metamorphosis of the ascidian tadpole larva. We will meet again in the next lecture.